What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am doing my Lanterns Episode 2 Season 1 review. I know I'm like 2 days late, I'm sorry. But I'm here now, and we're going to do the review and give my thoughts of the episode. And I can assure you from here on out, my reviews will be dropping the day of the release of the episode. I typically don't like to release my videos at nighttime. And like for where I'm at, Lanterns episodes come out at like 9 o'clock. I get done them by like 10. I don't typically like to drop my videos during the night because usually people don't see them then. But I'm just going to say screw it and do it because, you know, people do enjoy them and, you know, have been watching them. So, yeah. But without further ado, let's get into my review. Alrighty, so after last week's fantastic episode, my first question going into this week's episode is, what the hell was that ending? They didn't answer that question, and that's fine. To be honest, I actually really didn't expect them to. But I gotta say, man, this week's episode somehow surpassed last week's. I thought this episode was somehow even better. So really the whole thing with this episode is, you know, they've been in town now for a couple of nights, and Hal Jordan's ring is dead, so he sends John Stewart back to his home to go grab the lantern so he can charge the ring. And because of that, these two are divided this pretty much entire episode. John Stewart is, Hal Jordan's in the town, and then John Stewart's back at Hal Jordan's house. So they're really divided. And I think that was done purposely, not just because, you know, for the story reasons, but I also think it shows that as we, you know, keep progressing in this season, these two are going to start getting more and more and more divided. Because we know John Stewart is Hal Jordan's replacement, and Hal Jordan is a guy who does not want to be replaced. And so I feel like that was like a kind of a symbolic way of saying these two are going to be going their separate ways at some point, and there will be a divide, and there will be a fight. Which I think is such a nice change from the typical father-son, big brother-little brother relationship John Stewart and Hal Jordan always have. In this, it's a rivalry almost. It's a battle for the throne. And I think that's really interesting, and it has me super, super excited. Because I'm always up for doing things differently. As long as it serves the characters well, and it doesn't betray who the characters really are, I love changes. That's one of the reasons I really didn't like Man of Steel, though. It was something different, but it didn't serve the character. It didn't serve the purpose of the character. Random, but a good example of a difference that I thought was incredible. Marvel Spider-Man 2, the video game. People do not like that story. I love it. It's something different. It's unique. We have not seen that before. And I don't think it betrayed the characters in any way. It still served their purpose. It served the characters, who they really are. The characters didn't fundamentally change at all. They still had the same values, same goals, but their stories were being told in a different way, and I'm all for that. Sorry for that little side tangent. So yeah, Hal Jordan and John Stewart are split this entire episode. Hal Jordan stays back in town. He does some little investigating on his own. He goes back to the football field, and he goes up to the metal detectors, and he starts testing them, and realizes that they don't work for humans. Like when he goes through them, so he goes to the morgue and grabs some of the alien dead bodies, or the aliens that were disguised as people. He grabs some of them and then puts them through the metal detector, and what do you know, they go off. And so that rings like an alarm in his head. It's like, why would they have that? That doesn't make any sense. So he goes back to the farm where that rich asshole lived. So, you know, ask him some questions, and of course he's accompanied by the sheriff of the town. And he's like, why, like, what is going on? Like, and you know, Hal Jordan has a bullshit alert in his head. He can sense bullshit from 10 miles away. And so, you know, the guy's trying to explain it, and it's just, he knows he's full of shit. And he tells him, he's like, why would you have metal detectors that only detect aliens? It doesn't make any sense. And again, one thing you notice about this town, the entire town's empty. There's nobody in the town, and I'm going to come back to that later because I have a theory. but yeah, so like the entire town's empty, and again he goes to question this guy, and he ends up getting shot by one of the snipers on the property, because technically he was trespassing. And he wakes up in the hospital. He has a conversation with the sheriff, who we find out is from Gotham, and her last name is Kane. Could she be related to Batwoman? Could she be Batwoman? Or could she have been Batwoman? Who knows? Who knows? But that is just, it's just so cool hearing Gotham, knowing that it exists, knowing that it is a world. And I'm telling you, it is only a matter of time before somebody mentions Batman. And that has me so excited. I couldn't be more thrilled. And it's great. It is great. And I feel like that's one of the benefits they had going into this pre-existing universe. Again, they're doing something different. You know, Marvel, they did everybody's backstory. With this, they're skipping it. They're just skipping the backstories. We've seen them a million times. Put us directly in. And I like that, because they don't have to waste time telling these backstories and doing these origin movies. We've had a million origin movies for all of these characters. We don't need them anymore. You know, we've had origins for Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, even though the movie did suck. Shazam, Blue Beetle. We've had all these origin stories. We don't need them anymore. We're at a point now where we know these characters like the back of our hands. And I just want to say that too. That is who James Gunn is making these movies for, or the entirety of the DCU. They are making them for die-hard fans who know the stuff. If you are not a die-hard fan, if you're a casual, you're not going to enjoy this universe like we are. It's really made for the die-hard fans, and that's a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because, you know, us die-hard fans are really the ones who are showing up at the end of the day. But at the same time, the casuals bring in majority of the box office. And I feel like that's a kind of a reason a lot of the movies haven't done great yet. Like, obviously, Superman did good, but it didn't do anywhere near as good as it should have. It still, you know, made money. It made like $100 million in revenue. Like, it made $600 million at the box office, but it like brought in $100 million. And then Supergirl obviously bombed. I think there were other things involved with the Supergirl bombing, but I feel like a big part of it is because a lot of people don't understand these stories, and I feel like, you know, people haven't fully jived with the fact that, like, I think people are just expecting the same thing. I feel like they're expecting MCU 2.0, and that's not what this is. But I do think people will start to come around and appreciate that eventually. Like, Lanterns is doing very well. Very high reviews. I think this episode got like a 9.3 out of 10. It got like 9 million views in its first 3 days, which is insane. It's more than any superhero show ever, aside from Loki season 2, which is huge. And I think in due time it will surpass Loki season 2. But it's insane. Like, it's nuts. So I think it will start to get better as time goes on. I think people just need to give it a chance. Again, sorry for the other side tangent. But yeah, it's just so great knowing that all these characters already exist and that these worlds are been built already and everything. And I'm so excited. So, you know, they Hal Jordan, the sheriff, have the conversation. Jon Stewart is back at Hal Jordan's house. And this is where we get our first official look of the suit. And it looks great. I love it. It actually looks really good. And we were all worried. I was worried because that suit looked like dog shit, literally dog shit in the trailers. It was this brown color. I understood why. It's because it's an older, beat up suit. But it didn't work. It just didn't work. And in this, they changed it. They made it green. It is a green suit. They covered it over in post because there's a behind the scenes image of Aaron Pierre holding the costume, and it's still that brown color. So they must have went into post-production and digitally changed the color. And you can't even tell it was digitally done. It looks green. And it looks great, man. Is it perfect? No. But it looks good, man. Like, I like it. Like, if I had a nitpick, I would have liked some white gloves. You know, I'm still not big on this leather jacket style design that the DCU has done so far. I really hope we stir away from that when we get to Batman and Wonder Woman. I feel like we do really need to get away from these design, like the shitty leather jacket designs that they've been doing. but apart from that, it looks really, really good. And we did get a behind this, or it wasn't a behind the scenes image. I think it was in like a newspaper clipping or something in the episode where you see Hal Jordan in the suit in its prime, and he did have the mask on. I know that's been a huge complaint. I really do believe when we get Aaron Pierre in his full costume, it's going to be the Green Lantern outfit we've been yearning for. I genuinely do believe that. And it just gets me so excited. I'm just glad the suit looks better. It's not perfect, but it's really good. Which has, again, it makes me so excited that we're just getting like good Lanterns content. It's crazy. Like, so for so long DC's been in the dark, and it's so nice that we're finally getting what it deserves, right? It's finally getting a faithful universe that's really high quality. But anyway, so Hal Jordan has the lantern in this. It's a quantum unfolding chamber. I think that's what it was called, which is the same thing Augie Smith had in Peacemaker. And so it's this tiny case. He opens it up and he has to like reach his arm in, and it's just nothing but blackness. It's like a big black hole. And he eventually finds it. Also, I forgot to mention earlier in the episode, John Stewart put the ring on and tried to fly, and he ended up creating a bird. It was just a bird construct. And this bird construct follows him around the entire episode, and his goal was to not let it disappear. Because the way the constructs stay there, and I'm glad they explained this, you have to be concentrated. If you lose concentration, your construct will disappear. Great explanation. Love that. And so that's what they did. And so the bird is just following him around this entire episode. So he finds it. He doesn't charge the ring. Sorry, Hal Jordan does that later. He finds it. He puts it in his bag. He also brings the suit with him, which Hal Jordan did not tell him to do. He does that. He brings the suit with him. And then as he goes to feed this like plant creature that Hal Jordan has as a pet, which I thought was hilarious. Possibly a Poison Ivy reference. I don't know. Probably not. But it just shows that she could exist in a world like that. Which again is great. And so as he's leaving the house to get back on to go back to the town or whatever, he gets attacked by these guys. He gets his ass kicked. Randomly gets jumped. He wakes up. They have him in like this abandoned office building, and they tell him the truth about what's going on, that there is a manhunter in that town, a manhunter, which, if you guys don't know, is the same race and species as Martian Manhunter, or John Jones. And they say explicitly, there is one manhunter in that town. I disagree. I think the entire town are manhunters. I really do. And I think the first one is that chick that Jon Stewart's been hooking up with, who reappears in this episode once he gets back to town, by the way. I think she was the first manhunter, and I'm telling you, I think almost everybody in this town is a manhunter now. I believe it. I think they've completely taken over the town. Now, these guys want Jon Stewart to track down the manhunter and kill it. Within 2 days, he's got 48 hours to do it, and they told him because they don't trust Hal Jordan. As we saw in the trailer, the manhunters will reveal themselves. But I don't think they're the bad guys. I really don't. I think the whole season is building up to Parallax. That's what everybody thinks, and it's no secret. I think that's got to be what it is. But I think this bald guy is Atrocitus. The stuff he's been saying that, oh, the manhunters destroyed my home, and he wants them days like filled with all this rage. I think it could be Atrocitus. I really do think so. Which would be fucking awesome. I don't know if he's taking on like a human form in this or what. But that sounds like Atrocitus. And it's just, it's exciting, man. There's unlimited villain potential with the Lanterns. There's just so many of them. And if they get Atrocitus involved, that'd be awesome. So anyway, yeah, they tell him he needs to kill the Manhunter. He's got 48 hours to do it, 2 days. And they send him on his way. He goes back to the town. He has a sit down with that lady, who I think is the Manhunter. It's the girl. It's again the chick he's been hooking up with, the one who's married. And then he goes back to the motel where Hal Jordan's at. Hal Jordan charges the ring. He gives him the suit, and we get one of the most badass endings to a TV show episode I've ever seen in my life. Jon Stewart goes to bed in his motel room. Hal Jordan puts the suit on, runs out, flies away off to another planet, and visits fucking Sinestro. Such a badass ending to an episode. And what does Sinestro tell him? He says something along the lines of, I am the first of two problems you have to deal with, or I was the first of two problems you have to deal with. What is this other problem he's talking about? Is it Manhunters? Is it Parallax? I don't know. But we're going to find out, and I'm super fucking excited about it. So yeah, that is my review of Lanterns Episode 2. It was an incredible episode. I'm super excited about it. I cannot wait to see where this series goes. Yeah, man, I'm just super excited for this, man. It's looking great so far. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the episode down in the comments below. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.